Today we're going to be diving into a list of the best looking Quest games you can play as of right now. Now if you're on a Quest 3 or Quest 3S, some of these games are going to be enhanced to look even better on your headset, and there is even a couple of exclusive Quest 3 games in this list as well. But if you're in a Quest 2, don't feel left out because a bunch of these games still look incredible on the Quest 2, so you're still in for a good time. But before we dive into that, I want to thank today's channel sponsor, X8. Brand new update bringing the X8 Contra Super War Storm. This brings a legendary action from Contra into VR with its all new co-op survival mode. Play as Contra's iconic heroes Bill and Lance with exclusive Supreme skins and join the forces of X8's digital champions to take down the rogue AI in a battle to save two worlds. Dive into Contra's universe like never before, teaming up to storm the Red Falcon's military base. Take on the classic heroes like Birdhuman Garth and Armadillo Bomb, and face the ultimate challenge, the terrifying Super Wall bosses. Power up your arsenal by shooting the capsules into the sky, and don't miss the rare tornado ability for a game-changing edge. It's tough, thrilling, and stays true to Contra's roots. Gear up and get ready to conquer the storm. A massive thank you to X8 for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you go check this out. There are links in the description and in the pinned comments. And now let's dive into the first game on the list is Batman Arkham Shadow. Now my goodness, this game just looks freaking stunning for an exclusive Quest 3 game. Woo! This game looks incredible. Not only that, but of course you're going to embody Batman, taking out some of those scumbag criminals on the Gotham streets or in Shadowgate prison. This game really does offer it all, from really fun sort of rhythmic combat all the way through to using some of those iconic gadgets from Batman. This game for me was an absolute top tier experience. I enjoyed it from start to finish, and not only that, it's got a bunch of new updates that are coming out next year as well, adding like New Game Plus and even a mixed reality mode. So I'm very intrigued to see where this is going to go in the future. And not only that, but if you really want to genuinely feel like freaking Batman, this is the closest you're going to get as of right now in virtual reality. And not only that, you get to meet a bunch of iconic characters along the way. I don't want to spoil too much, just know that going into this you're going to definitely have that Arkham feeling throughout the game, and not only that, you're going to kick the living crap out of people as freaking Batman. Need I say any more? Next up we have Metro Awakening, which honestly took me by surprise. When I loaded this in on the Quest for the very first time, I was actually blown away just how visually stunning this game still remained. Now of course this game is a fully story driven adventure that's going to take you through that Metro universe, really locking into actually that IP and making it feel like a true part of the Metro franchise rather than just some sort of tacked on VR game. This actually does fulfill the needs and the wants that the Metro fans were after, and genuinely a pretty kick-ass game throughout as well. Not only are you going to face some of those dreaded, Metro freaking monsters, but you're also going to face up against some pretty cool AI in a really fun adventure that's really going to actually take you quite a number of hours to get through, and I think actually has some replayability to it as well. For me, this actually held up to the promise of what the game could be, and actually kind of over-delivered for once, and especially with its visual style in the Quest, this is a freaking damn nice looking game. Next up we have BEHEMOTH. Well, the behemoth of a game that we've all been waiting for. It's finally there now for everyone to go and enjoy. So if you've ever wanted a Shadow of Colossus type experience but in virtual reality, well now you kind of actually have that, because you're going to go up against some massive creatures, and oh my god, does it feel freaking epic to do this on the Quest. Now again, this looks bloody stunning on the Quest with some high level of detail in things like the hands and the weaponry, which really bring you into the experience. Now of course this, there are other ways to experience this game on other platforms, but the Quest still holds up pretty damn strong when it comes to this lineup, still making it one of the most best looking games in my opinion on the Quest platform. Now within this you're going to go up against some pretty, okay-ish combat that you're going to have throughout this experience, but the real show sort of stopper is actually when you get to go up against these behemoths, which just feel bigger than life. They just feel incredible to go up against and fight in a really pretty decent story that's going to take you throughout this game. Genuinely one I highly recommend, and yeah, again, it falls into this category of stunning Quest games because, well, it certainly lives up to that. Next up we have Assassin's Creed Nexus. Man, it feels like we have been gifted some incredible IPs in VR recently. Over the last couple of years it feels like it's picking up pace massively, and Assassin's Creed Nexus doesn't hold out on you either. This is going to give you that feeling of parkouring across a roof while jumping down and taking someone out with your freaking hidden blade. Honestly, this game is a ton of fun in it. While the combat is still slightly hand-holdy throughout this game, it still is a visually stunning one at that, where you'll actually get to move around some fairly large environments environments, getting that feeling of being Ezio. You'll get to embody 3 iconic assassins throughout this experience, and it all ties together very nicely, mixing in some even mixed reality moments into this game as well. Genuinely a very top-notch experience that looks freaking gorgeous and is going to keep you locked in for long periods of time, giving you back the money that you pay into this game. Next up is an oldie but a freaking goldie. It's Red Matter 2, still to this day one of the most visually stunning games on the Quest platform. This game really defies logic because it's almost hard at points when you're playing this to realize that you're playing on a freaking Android device. You know, you're playing on a completely mobile freaking VR headset, and yet it still holds up true, even holding up a torch against things like PC VR, which is insane to be able to say. In this, there are some really incredible sort of like ray tracing reflections. It just looks so damn stunning, and genuinely just one of those moments where you're just very wowed through every single bit that you step through in this game. On top of that, it's also a really good game as well, if you can believe it. This one, you're actually going to be doing a bit more of a sort of a puzzler sort of situation as you go through this, a bit of a narrative thriller, and I feel like it's going to lock you in for the experience because you genuinely get really locked into the story in this one. The cool thing about this is there's also quite a bit of action locked into it as well, which is going to keep you on your toes as you go throughout the game. Of course though, being enhanced by the fact that this is just a gorgeous game to experience on your Quest 3 or Quest 3S. Next up, we have a twofer. It's Arizona Sunshine, both 1 and 2. Well, Arizona Sunshine 1 just had a heavy remake done to it where they actually improved everything, bringing it up to the same standard as the second game. It's now easy to recommend either 1 or 2 to dive into and experience at any point now. If you're one of the few people that haven't actually experienced this game, well, then now is the time, because the remake is freaking gorgeous for the first one, and the second one is an incredible game as well. Both of these are zombie shooters at heart, with a pretty fun sort of comedic feeling that runs throughout the entire game. Also, both games are fully co-op as well, so if you really want to get in there with a mate and experience a zombie apocalypse, well then tick tick tick, this is going to be for you. I highly recommend this, especially over the Christmas period, because there's going to be people with a bit more free time where you could dive in and experience this together and have just a pretty unique one-off experience. I know we feel like we've done a lot with zombies in VR, but this one just kind of hits a little bit different, giving you a sort of Dead Island feel where you get to really mess up these zombos in a pretty unique, disgusting way each and every time you make well, your next kill. So yeah, definitely want to recommend either 1 or 2. You could jump into either of these without having played the first or second one first. You're going to have a great time either way. Keeping in though with those zombies, we're going to talk about The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Now specifically here, I'm going to be talking about Chapter 1, as it has an enhancement upgrade given to it for the Quest 3 and Quest 3S to make this game look even more stunning. Sadly, they still haven't brought it to Chapter 2, which really begs the question, when the hell is that going to happen? But for now though, we still have Chapter 1, which looks frigging insane when it comes to the visuals on a quest. Not only upping the number of zombies you can have on screen, but also just making this game look freaking awesome. Now, if you really want something that is very kind of almost feels grounded, a bit more like how it could be if a zombie invasion actually happened, and not only that, this one gives you sort of the most tense atmospheric feeling as you go throughout it in a zombie outbreak, you know? I mean, it's grounded in the Walking Dead universe, but we're not selected to just the TV show. This is really its entirely own story, just set within that universe. Next up, we have one of those games that seems to go under so many people's radars, and that is Resist. This is a frigging awesome game that everyone should experience at some point, because it just makes you feel like freaking Spider-Man. Now, in this game, you're going to get grappling hooks, which are going to aid you to literally grappling hook around this gorgeously giant city, again enhanced for the Quest 3 and Quest 3S, making it just one of those absolute no-brainers to get into, because if you want to feel like freaking Spider-Man smashed together with Iron Man, then this is going to be that game that really does that for you. You get to do so many cool things in this with gadgets, as well as taking out giant mechs and fighting a bunch of really cool, interesting drone type things whilst going through a really solid story. So it kind of ticks a bunch of boxes, and genuinely just a really cool experience. Whether you're very novice and new to VR, or whether you're really experienced, there's definitely like a bunch of settings in this that are going to allow you to enjoy this no matter where you are on your VR journey. So even if you're a bit new and sort of, you know, still getting your VR legs, this is actually going to be still fun for you, because you can put a bunch of blinders on and stuff like that, which will help you experience this and maybe even work towards getting over your sort of VR sickness. Next up, we have Asgards Wrath 2, and this is a game that can take you hundreds of hours to complete if you really want to go through every little bit of it, and even if not, you're still going to get literally ridiculous amount of time out of this game. In this, you're going to go through as a basically a Nordic god, where you're going to be able to consume and take over the bodies of the people that you work with along this, and they're going to give you different abilities. Not only that, but you're also going to get different companions that are going to be able to help you along the way, whether it be them turning into a rideable freaking like panther or a bird that you can fly around on. This game just has it all. On top of that, there is some pretty decent combat in this. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's definitely passable to have a good experience in the entire time. And more than anything, it's just got these massive, vast areas that you can go and explore, from going into caves and doing puzzle stuff, all the way through to just traveling across terrain and making it feel like a real open world game, but in virtual reality. They do such a good job of conveying that in this game. The scale and the size of this thing is ridiculous, and the fact that we even have this kind of thing in VR is just next level. And last but not least on this list, we have Undead Citadel, another one I feel like is a bit of an unsung hero for how good it actually looks on the Quest platform. This game actually plays and looks incredibly well for a Quest game, and also in this you have two different modes in this, whether you want to go through the full story campaign, which is actually pretty damn decent in this game, or if you want to go into like a sandboxing mode where you just want to kick the living snot and get inventive, destroying a bunch of enemies. The cool thing about this is you can dismember and attack them in a bunch of very unique and interesting ways, whether you're fighting like the Skelly Bob type characters or the sort of zomboid sort of looking perished warriors that you're going to fight in this as well. Really, there's an array of different weapons, potions, and a bunch of things that are going to keep you locked in. The more you play through the story, the more you unlock to be able to do within the sandbox mode. So this is going to have that sort of like really kind of pays you off for playing the story. And not only that, like I said, this game looks really visually pretty stunning for a Quest game. I'm really pleased that this actually turned out to be this good, because it is a game that I've been waiting for a long time, and this year it finally delivered on the Quest, and I feel like it really does add to the experience being so visually stunning. And that is pretty much going to do it for this video, guys. I'm just like, 2024 has been an incredible year for VR, and so many of these titles have actually come out this year, which this is why I kind of wanted to update this list, because I had made a video, I think maybe 5-6 months ago, about this subject, and it's so wildly different now to be able to talk about compared to then, as we've had just so many awesome games. Some of them are still remained in this list because, well, they are just incredible games and they're stunning, but this is just next level VR. And we also still have a few more titles coming up in the next couple of months I think are going to add to this list. And also, just to add to this at the end here, there are a couple of games I want to give an honorable mention that I think are going to probably make this list pretty dang soon, which is the new Aliens game that's coming out. I think it's going to be pretty much a stunning game, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. We've also got the brand new Wanderer coming out as well, which I'm very, very excited for. So keep your eyes peeled for those games in the end of this year going into the beginning of next. And more than anything, if you enjoyed this, please do consider smashing that like button, subscribing if you are new, because it means the absolute bloody world to me. Thank you so much for watching and enjoying spending some time with me. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.